Hello guys and welcome back to Car Focus. You join me here in Norfolk today and it is a beautiful sunny day. We've been so lucky with the weather lately. Had weeks of sunshine, glorious, perfect weather for doing a car review, and that is what we're here doing. So with thanks to Fresh Motors in Watton, I have picked out of all of their stock this 2020 Toyota GR Sport. Now this is the hatchback version and it's also the 1.8 hybrid, so the smaller engine. You can also go for the 2 litre. You might be wondering why I've picked this car. Now a lot of you know that I actually have, or my wife and I actually have, a Toyota Corolla, but we've got the XL Touring Sports and we've got the 2 litre version. So we've essentially got the top of the range version, both trim and engine. And I did a review of that a couple of years ago now as like a first year ownership review, and that video did really well. And I thought this car is a good opportunity to kind of compare hatchback and 1.8, because I know 1.8 gets quite a bit better fuel consumption, and it also just looks a bit more sporty than the Touring, doesn't it? Great looking little car, especially in this GR Sport trim. But anyway, before we get started, I just want to say thanks to Fresh Motors for allowing me to take a pic of one of their vehicles, this vehicle in particular. You can check out the guys at Fresh Motors. I will put a link to their website in the description below. All of their vehicles go through vigorous checks and are certified fresh, this one included. So if it's got less than 6 months MOT, they'll put a full new ticket, clear all advisories. It goes through a thorough mechanical inspection, a valet, and it also comes with a 6-month warranty. The guys there are really good. Every time I go there, it's like a really nice kind of friendly family vibe in there. People can just go in, walk around, look at the stock without being harassed. Went in there today, there's a customer in there that's got a couple of kids behind the desk messing around. It's just a really kind of friendly place, a nice vibe. And I wouldn't be endorsing these guys if I didn't kind of agree with the work ethic they have. It is really good. And big thanks to Danny there for letting me take this car out. Anyway, right, so this, 1.8 hybrid, is self-charging hybrid, about 122 brake horsepower, so not a lot out of the 1.8 engine. It's got a small battery which will assist with powering the vehicle at low speeds. Finished in black. This particular one is just under £16,000. I think it's 15,990. Now, good thing about these cars is if you service them with Toyota every year, they'll maintain the warranty up to 10 years. So you can get a 10-year warranty out of these cars. And being an owner myself, these things are bulletproof as well. Just such reliable cars. Our one's got 35,000 miles on it now, and it hasn't skipped a single beat. This car, 53,000 miles, but it's a couple of years older than mine, so a bit more miles, but for this car, that is absolutely nothing. Anyway, what we'll do, we'll have a quick look around the exterior of the car, hop inside, look at the interior, and then we'll go out for a drive. So let's do a quick walk around of the car. So starting from the front, ever since these Corollas came out, this particular model, I just think it's a really edgy, kind of aggressive looking design. I suppose it's kind of Marmite, but I think they look really good. Now this GR Sport, it has DRLs, are a bit different to the XL. You just get 3 sets of LEDs in the corner of each headlamp, which aren't illuminated at the moment, but you get this nice kind of front splitter with a brushed aluminium style strip and a big gaping front grille, 2 fog lights there. But yeah, nice looking car from the front. Get these GR Sport wheels as well. So black 18-inch kind of bladed alloys with a diamond cut finish and a red ring around the Toyota badge. Hybrid badging there. Got a chrome trim just working its way across the windows. Nice side profile. Shark fin aerial at the top. And we've got just some sporty looking side skirts there as well. So yeah, it's a nice looking car, isn't it? I mean, yeah, a very sporty looking car for low running costs. With the MPG that you're going to get over 50 miles per gallon in this quite easily. So yeah, let's move around to the rear. Obviously colour-coded door handles and stuff as you'd expect on a car like this. So moving to the rear, we've got a little fake exhaust pipe bit there and another one over there. Again, we've got the kind of brushed aluminium strip on the rear diffuser. Yeah, just a nice looking car. Little spoiler, with these little spoiler lifters or whatever you want to call them there. And we've got tinted rear glass at the back. Let's have a quick look in the boot. Not a huge boot, but not insufficient. Unfortunately, underneath here, there's not really, well, there's no room at all. You just get your emergency kit. So, but it's quite a deep boot. There's no additional floor in there as well, like you get in the touring. And you've got some tether points. And obviously the seats fold flat to give you additional room. I think there's about 330 litres or just over of space in this boot. But yeah, it's enough, it's enough. So moving on to the inside. We've got the bucket seats, also the same seats that are in the XL. There are pros and cons to these seats. I would explain a bit more in a moment. Electrical lumbar support, but then manual everything else. Leather trimmed steering wheel, adjustable both ways with reach and rake. You've got the big screen there. That's the older style screen now. The one we've got doesn't have the buttons and it's slightly larger. You've got the dual climate system, and then you've got the gear selector for the ECVT gearbox. You've got a nice digital display there as well, which when driving gives you a lot of information. You can't really see it, it's a bit blurry there. But yeah, quite a simple, straightforward layout, kind of typical Japanese style. Door cards there, we've got a little bit of piano black trimming in the center as well. These do pick up fingerprints and stuff like that. Obviously, owning one myself. Heated seats. You've got auto high beam, auto lights. This has got everything really. Lane assist, automatic cruise control, or adaptive cruise control, should I say. Yeah, it's got all the electrical gizmos that you would expect. So just talking about legroom, which is quite important in a car like this. The passenger seat in this car is adjusted for, I'd probably say, somebody that's kind of a 6-footer, over 6 foot. If I slide it into my position, which is probably about there, I'm 5'8" and a bit. Quickly moving to the back. And I will say, it's okay, but if you were sat behind that 6-footer, and you're 6 foot in the back in particular, it would be very tight. Now these seats, they're lovely looking seats, they're very comfy, but they are very kind of shoehorned into this car. And you feel a little bit claustrophobic sat in the back here because you've got this huge seat just obscuring your view. Yeah, so pros and cons to these seats. And when you're actually sat in them, if you need to kind of reach around to, if you've got somebody in the back or something like that, and you want to pass them something, it can be quite difficult because they're just so big. But it's kind of a trade-off to having a sporty seat, I guess. We've got some nice cup holders in here, and we've also got a centre armrest with 2 coffee cup holders as well. And headroom's good. But yeah, other than the legroom and the bulky seats, everything seems to be pretty good. So moving on to the drive part. Now, immediately what's different in this compared to our 2-litre XL is on the drive select option, you've got a park, reverse, neutral, drive and B. Now, the B is basically a setting which utilises engine braking. So there are no paddles on this steering wheel. In our XL, we've got paddles and you can knock sort of down. It's a CVT gearbox, but you can still kind of knock down into different gears to slow yourself down. So if you're going down a hill or something, rather than coasting, you can go down a few gears. Whereas in B mode in this, it will just do that naturally for you, and it assists with the regen as well. So I've been using that and I quite like it. So the immediate driving impressions of the car, it's just a nice, smooth, modern feeling car. It feels very similar to our touring. Obviously it's a little bit kind of firmer on the road, a little bit noisier because you've got the 18-inch alloy wheels with the lower profile tyres. You can also get lesser models or more comfortable models of this car. So you've got the Icon Tech and the Design. They have a higher profile tyre, so it's going to offer a bit more road comfort and a bit less road noise. But in this trim, as it stands, it's absolutely fine. It's still a comfortable car. It's nothing that's too harsh or anything like that, and you do get the sporty looks. Now at low speeds, the hybrid system works very well. You've got an EV mode switch down here which you can activate, and around sort of below 30 miles an hour you can cruise around just using the small battery in pure electric. Any faster than that or up any gradients or anything, the engine will take over, and then it's you and the 1.8 and the CVT gearbox. Now in the last video I did, I got roasted because I referred to the CVT gearbox as a traditional CVT with belts and cones. These aren't apparently in these Corollas. They're an e-CVT gearbox, quite an advanced version. But I must admit, Toyota aren't very forthcoming. So when we bought ours, they weren't kind of raving about the God, that's hard to say, the e-CVT. And there's not really anywhere in the information booklets or anything like that that mentions it. But anyway, it's got a CVT. It's pretty good. It makes the drive extremely smooth compared to a conventional automatic. In a conventional automatic, you're kind of waiting for it to hunt around for the gear that it wants. Sometimes if you want to put your foot down, you have to kind of wait for it to kick down, and then it finally goes. Whereas this, with the battery and the CVT, it's just very flowy. It just wafts along very nicely. It's a bit of a weird sensation when you put your foot down. You do get this kind of constant high rev and the car just pulls along. But you do get used to it after a while, and you do start to appreciate it. And these cars are just very effortless to drive. You don't really have to think too much about driving other than kind of looking where you're going. So guys, I just want to do a little MPG test. I've been on this back road, this national speed limit B road, for about 10 minutes now, doing around 60 miles an hour. And the tank average is 48.9 MPG, and it is slowly rising. That's since I put fuel in when I started this journey. I'm going to get into the town. I'm going to do a little bit of driving around the town and see what I can get that figure up to, and I'm going to report back just to kind of show that these cars are more in their element in those kind of scenarios. So I'll get back to you in a second. So I'm back from my little bit of town driving. I've been driving around for 13 minutes around town, and I've gone from, what was it, 48 something to 53.7, and it is continually rising. So with this kind of driving, shopping trips, school run, you know, just darting around town, city driving, that kind of thing, I'm confident you can get into the 60s in this, probably more. And it is just a very pleasant experience. And I have noticed, compared to the 2 litre, this 1.8 will utilise EV mode a lot more, so you can drive around in this in battery mode quite a bit further than you can in the 2 litre. And I don't know if that's the weight issue, it's not pulling as much weight around behind it. I'm not too sure, but yeah, quite impressed really. 54.1 now, so like I say, continuously going up. So yeah, don't get these self-charging hybrids expecting them to be returning like 80 miles to the gallon unless you're using them in the right scenario. Now, the actual drive of this car. Now, what I like about these Corollas is Toyota have done a really good job at making these cars feel very light on their feet. They're not the lightest cars, but when you're piloting these things around little lanes and corners, they do feel like a very light and very agile car. And it kind of adds a bit of fun to the drive. And I think it's quite good how Toyota have kind of engineered that into the car. The driving dynamics are quite fun and quite nimble. In terms of the power delivery, the 2 litre is most definitely more than adequate. And the 1.8 we're driving now with 122 brake horsepower, it isn't going to set your pants on fire, I will say that, but when you're whizzing around, popping out junctions, etc., and you can use the EV sort of power off the mark, it is plenty quick enough. And the initial kind of acceleration you get, it does make it feel like it's got more than 122 brake horsepower. In fact, the overall driving experience of this car makes it feel like it's got more power than that. Pull out of a junction. You've got electric power initially, goes nicely, and then it will just continue accelerating on at this kind of pace to 60. More than quick enough. but it does feel slow compared to the 2 litre. So if you're feeling a little bit feisty and you want to have a little bit of fun, can you have fun with this little 1.8? Well, let's have a little find out. So it does take off pretty quick, and then the power does tend to ease off and becomes very consistent at that speed. But like I say, the car does feel very light, and it has got that initial takeoff out the corners. So if you're on a very tight and little twisty road, you can have fun. Lovely feeling little chassis as well. It doesn't get carried away with the bumps, it just takes them all nicely in its stride. Nice little turn in there, very lively little front end. Yeah, you can have fun. You can have fun. But if you do want to go a bit faster, you got to go for the 2 litre. But yeah, this little 1.8, it's sufficient. Yeah, it's a very nice car, and I think if you're in the market for a car that doesn't cost shed loads of money but is still modern, potentially has 5-6 years left on the warranty, because these can come with a 10-year warranty if you get them serviced every year at Toyota, these are a very good proposition. Very sporty looking car, very smooth, and like I say, they're bulletproof. I've driven one of these for over 3 years now, or just coming up 3 years should I say, and it hasn't skipped a single beat. It's just been absolutely perfect. And you know what? You see taxi drivers using these all the time. Why do you think? Taxi driver isn't going to use a car that is unreliable and expensive to run. So that says it all. So if you get it in non-taxi spec, the GR Sport trim or the XL, you get yourself a lovely looking car, cheap to run, good on fuel, extremely reliable, with a long warranty. What isn't there to like about that? Yeah, it can be considered to be a little bit boring, but if you want a car that gets you from A to B in comfort with all the gizmos and doesn't cost you the earth, then to me, these are an absolute no-brainer. Anyway guys, that's from me. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, until the next one, take care and I shall see you soon.